Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and welcome back to the channel where we today is going to talk about Solar Kingdom. Solar Kingdom is coming out of the developers from Solar Farm, and this is part of the same platform, so it's basically on the same application here still. We're going to have a closer look exactly when it was launched, which was last week. We're going to see all the features that are in there, what kind of return on investment you can expect. And also we're going to have a look at the Solar Frenzy itself, which is a bit of a game that has now been set up. First pot has already been won, which was around 15 BNB. And in today's value, as of this video is being shot, the BNB is currently at $300. And the new pot is already up to a staggering 51 BNB and keep going up. Things are not over yet. So there's a big prize, and if you haven't calculated it yet, it's $15,000. But we're going to have a look at the entire platform. We're going to have a look exactly how the developers has taken the approach with the Solar Kingdom, depending on and including some of the experiences that they have learned from Solar Farm. So let's get started and let's have a look at all the different details. But first we're going to start off on the platform itself to see exactly how the layout looks. So when we arrive at the website, it looks like this. Hit on the dashboard up here. You can see the Solar Farm Miner version 2 and version 1 is here on the site. And then you have Solar Kingdom on top. And if we just scroll in a bit, so we can see what's actually going on. We have the first part, the TVL, which is the total value locked, and that is quite important. You get a bit more information when you hover over the eye for the indicators here. Basically tells you the total value locked. TVL is the current supply of BNB that is locked within the reward pool, and this is very important. So to make sure that that one is being stable, that it has been one of the issues in the past for the solar farm, in order to keep it stable enough and at the same time pay out reasonable rewards. Now, if we have a look at the other parts, it is the reactor tier in here, and this is basically a level of tier in the reactor that determines your daily return on investment. And we're going to have a closer look at that in detail. You can see right now we are just at T1, 4% daily return on the investment. And that basically goes over to the reward balance that you have here. We have just fused, we have basically just rebought in again. That is why it's fairly low right now. But there's a way where you can actually improve this and also put in referral links, and depending on how much they are putting in, you will also have an increase of return on the investment. So basically to the benefit of both yourself and others. And we will explain more in detail exactly how you can do this the best way possible. On top of this, we have the tax tier in here. So this has now also been put in place to determine when you should actually be able to take money out. You can take money out at any given time within the Solar Kingdom here, but you have to pay the tax. Now the tax has been set up in a certain way again, starts off at 90% and then basically runs down to 0. Where you can take the money out only with the normal fees included, and we're going to go over them also. And this is basically for harvesting, means that if you want to take money out at the moment, like today here, if I wanted to take this amount out now, I could harvest it over here, take it out to my wallet, and I would pay 30% tax. Obviously that's not happening right now, so we will wait a bit with that. On top of that, we have the reactor value, and this is actually the value itself. So based on the return on the investment that we have made so far. And we started off with a fresh value, and the fresh value is actually what we have brought into the TVL, which is just 0.2. So we haven't really done much more about it. We have taken a bit from our Solar Farm 1, added into here just to make or get an idea exactly how the platform works. So we can also do this tutorial for you. The reactor value here means that we have rebought, or we have fused as they call it up here, and now the value itself is at 0.24. You can see the depleted cells that you have in here, and basically that correlates this number here with what you have over here. If you put 0 point and then you have 24 here, that is the same as the reactor value you have itself. The allowance comes in, and that is basically what you can withdraw from the TVL. In this particular case on Solar Kingdom, it has been set up to 3 times. So you have the fresh value down here at 0.2 BNB, and then they have limited up to getting your initial investment back plus 200% so far. Total deposit, as you can see also here, is 0.2, so that's what we have in, and that correlates with the fresh value itself. Total harvested is basically what you have taken out, and that comes back to the tax section up here that you have. Now, if you want to go in and add some value and build a reactor within this, you need to link up your wallet, and you can do that with MetaMask as we have done here. We don't have much sitting actually there in the wallet at the moment because we don't really use it for anything apart from Solar Farm and now Solar Kingdom. But all you have to do is put in the amount that you want in here. You can also put the max in, then you will see exactly what is available. And then buy the fuel cells, and from there on you will be able to start to rebuy or start to fuse. Minimum is also for the rebuy or for the fuse in here. So there is a limited number, and we're also going to have a closer look at that. Now, the important part here, so with the Solar Frenzy, as I mentioned a bit before, that is a game within the Solar Kingdom itself. And as you can see, the jackpot size, as I mentioned before, has now passed 50 BNB, so more than $50,000. And this is basically a timer game in here where you are adding in value. So from your reactor itself, so from within the Solar Kingdom already, you're taking part of that money into this particular game. And what you will see here, the last depositors, you can see the time remaining. And if you then want to go in, you can basically contribute, which is then a bit, will give you a bit more time. And every single time somebody goes in and buys, the last one that are in will basically win the pool. There is now 2 also winners within this. There is the last depositor that you have up here, and then you have the top depositor, which is basically the person that has put most into it, and there's a percentage difference in between the two, who's getting what, and we're going to have a closer look at that also when we go through it in technical details. Now there's multiple ways of adding in, as you can see here, for 1, 10 and 30 minutes. Buy yourself more time, and it basically just is all about making sure that you are the last one to put in a bid, and most probably that will be something around the 1 minute mark where nobody else is paying attention. View history, there's only been 2 that has been started off so far, because obviously this platform is less than a week old. Pot size on the first time around, as you can see here, was 16 BNB and ended on the 13th. And currently now we are on the second part here with 51 BNB. The winners down here is also located, so you can see them in there. And sometimes they will even make themselves known also in the applications that you can link together with your Telegram app. So let's have a look at the technical details behind it and exactly how that works and what it takes to be part of this. So let's have a look and see exactly what Solar Kingdom is all about to try and keep it simple here. So it's a static reward pool. Static reward pool is a project where you can deposit currencies into and generate stable income returns. And in this particular case for this pool, we are choosing to use BNB for the Solar Kingdom. And for those that are familiar with the mining setup, similar to what you have on Solar Farm, it is a static reward pool, but essentially without any inflation. Inflation you have on the Solar Farm mining, but not on the Solar Kingdom here itself, but the return on the investment is also lower, as you could see. Daily return on the investment is what we're getting to here now, and it's variable, as you saw earlier here. Depending on how many engineers you refer, you can earn up to 7.5%, and basically you start off at 4%, and then it's definitely up to you if you're going to stay there or if you want to refer other people. So now they are using the terms here, engineers and supervisors, and it says there are 2 types of investors in Solar Kingdom. There are the engineers and there are the supervisors. And an engineer is a user who owns and operates their own reactor, so basically has 0 referrals. And this is basically what we have as of right now. We are only compounding for ourselves. A supervisor is an engineer who owns and operates their own. Plus, on top of that, you also refer other engineers to invest inside the platform itself and build up their own return on the investment reactor. So those are the two differences here, and we're going to have a closer look exactly how that also works. So now they are talking about fuel cells and reactor value within here. So when you invest in Solar Kingdom, you become an engineer automatically, like we did here, and you get your return on the investment reactor and starting off at 4%. And then basically that reactor is fueled by the fuel cells that you saw in here that basically correlates to what you have in the wallet itself. So when you make the BNB deposits, they are automatically converted into fuel cells, and then they are fed into the daily return on the investment reactor. And we also had a closer look at that. And then the more total depleted cells you have, the higher your daily reward reactor value will be over time. So fuel cells and depleted cells maintain the same value, and that also what I explained when we looked at the platform before. Now, fusing and harvesting, there's 2 things you can do with your rewards in order to accumulate them up here. The choice to either fuse the rewards, so basically you feed them back into the daily return on the investment reactor and therefore also increase the value. In other words, this actually means a rebuy, so on other platforms. It's also your choice to harvest these rewards, cause them to be sold to the grid and then sent to your wallet in form of BNB, for example, back into the MetaMask wallet. There are restrictions to how often you can fuse and harvest, which we discussed in the Solar Kingdom specification chapters, and that is what we are going through here today. So only 2 ways, basically buy or sell, very, very simple. Now, there is an investment protection mechanism in here, and I mentioned this earlier also before. I'm not going to read everything out to you on this particular one, but one of the major things that has been the issue on Solar Farm and what the developers has basically noted here is the TVL drainers, basically big whales that are coming in and draining out the TVL and basically depleting the platform itself, and they want to try and avoid that. And that also means that there's quite a few stabilizing measures set in here. Some are the maximum wallets that are there, the maximum rewards accumulation, minimum buys, minimum compounds, and also the sales tax that are in here to make sure that things are becoming a bit more stable. We certainly hope that this is going to work out as they have hopefully calculated with. So complete referrals is achieved with an engineer referring to becoming a supervisor, and that's what we meant before. You refer other ones, you become a supervisor, and their total deposit is above the complete referral deposit amount, and we're going to have a look and see how that is broken down. So because when an engineer refers somebody, they become a supervisor, and we've gone over this already. They are still an engineer, but they also gain the supervisor status itself, and basically getting more return on the investment. So they also, if you have more persons that are coming in and they are also becoming a supervisor, then obviously that will accelerate things even faster. So you must refer to become a supervisor and then trigger a buy with a total deposit that is equal to or above the complete referral deposit amount. They will then be registered as complete referrals for you. And we're going to have a look and see exactly what numbers those are. So if we take a simulation in here, just to explain it to you, it means that Jack buys, that could be us in that particular case, 5 BNB. And then you get Roger in buying also 0.1 using Jack's referral. Jack has now gained a basic referral and become a supervisor. And now David buys 0.01 using Roger's referral. So now we're down 3 levels here. Roger has now gained a basic referral and becomes a supervisor. So Roger buys 0.49 BNB so that this deposit ends up at 0.5 Roger's total deposit is the same as the complete referral deposit amount, so Jack has gained one complete referral. Basically means that one complete referral is 0.5 BNB. And it works like this: daily rewards, an engineer's daily reward scale based on the total completed referrals in the following format. And if we start on the top here, you can see that the referral less than 5 full referrals. And if you say 5 full referrals, you saw that before it was 0.5, so it's basically 2.5 BNB we're talking about here, that you need to get past in order to raise the 4%. And then as you go up, you get 4.5%, 5%, 5.5%, and all the way up past 320, and you get 7.5%, obviously a very, very long way up. And we just have the indicator here saying, okay, we are currently at T1 and 4% on the daily return on the investment. So long way to go, but obviously this is a brand new project, and we'll have to see if this is something people actually like. Fresh value also, we just touched on that when we looked at the platform itself. Fresh value is the mechanism inside here. Comes also from the solar farm itself, where it's created by the developers. And the fresh value is the total deposit. So basically total deposit minus total withdrawal. And then that is the fresh value you have. So the more you add in, the more you can take out at the end of the day. And that's hopefully also what they expect. As we see here, it makes a return on the Solar Kingdom due to the competitive edge it provides in the TVL in terms of stability. Definitely we hope that that is the case. If we have a look at the sales tax, so that basically means that when you want to take a bit of BNB out back into your wallet, again here the engineer sales tax based on the number of days elapsed since the last harvest in the following format. So days since last harvest, if it's 1 then 90%, and then 2 goes down to 80, so more than 1, more than 2, all the way down to 0. And then as you can see, we had here tax tier T5 40%. It will go to 30 as you saw on the platform now, and then the day after it will be down at 20% until you go to 0. Then you have a chance to take out everything. You have that also the option, as we said, for all the other days, but you have to pay the tax itself. So best obviously is to wait if you can until you get to 0%. You can then take money out, and then it starts all over again, and you will then have to sit and wait patiently until next time where you can withdraw without the tax itself. Within the tax, there is a giveaway mechanism. So if the engineers trigger the tax itself, then half or 50% in this particular case is sent to the giveaway wallet, and then it's used for sponsored giveaways, also airdrops, whatever you want to call it here, to generate extra yield and then also bring back and fund more giveaways at the end of the day, as well as the TVL of the miners themselves. So obviously it helps when people are taking some money out with the tax itself, so it helps the platform, and that is something that we haven't seen also in the solar farm itself. Now within the platform, we just touched on the Solar Frenzy here also, and that is the Jackpot Game I mentioned and just explained to you a bit. And if we read it straight out, what the developers put down here, says a Jackpot Game is a game that features a reward pool and a countdown timer. We had a look at that. The final person to deposit into the reward pool before the countdown hits 0 will win most of the reward pool. The person to deposit the most into the reward pool will also receive a share, which is why you have 2 winners every single time. When someone deposits, the countdown timer will increase, and this gives another person the opportunity to become the final depositor. So you are basically betting with money and time. So it's like a battle royal game. The last man standing wins most of the pots. Solar Frenzy will be used to deplete cells as its currency, means that you are taking it from the platform itself. So what you have in there will be used for the Solar Frenzy. You are not taking money from outside. It comes from within the platform itself, and that's what it gives external value to it. It does not mean that you're it means that your reactor value will decrease. So if you want to participate in the Solar Frenzy, it's basically being taken out of the platform. But winning the ultimate jackpot prize from the Solar Frenzy is obviously more than worth it, especially at the moment where the first one was 16 BNB, and currently it's sitting at 51, the next one. So definitely a lot of money in there very, very early on. So the Solar Frenzy specifications also, we had a look at some of them, but let's have a look. Exchange rate, you have with the Frenzy in here, 1000, and then again you have, these are the 1 minute, the 10 minute and 30 minutes they're talking about. So the 1000, the 5000 and the 10,000 depleted cells that you are going in. So you can see that on the platform. So just have a look at that. Starting countdown timer, at the moment it starts off at 24 hours before. And then the session winner rewards and the session pity rewards are basically split up in 70-30%. So the winner itself, the one that are the last one to put money in there, wins the 70%, and the one that has added the most money within the platform itself get 30. Session tax is 10%. And as you can see here, minimum single buy 1 Frenzy, maximum single buy 3 Frenzy, and countdown boost mechanism is included in this, and that is basically the specifications for the game itself, so fairly simple. Session winners here, as I just mentioned before, the Solar Frenzy, there's always 2 winners. The main winner is the engineer who last invested before it reached the 0, and he gets the 70%. And again, after the tax, the second winner is the engineer who invested most in the jackpot pool itself and will get 30% of that also after the tax part. And the countdown boost mechanism here, when an engineer makes a deposit into Solar Frenzy, they increase the countdown timer, time remaining. Deposit 1 Frenzy increases the countdown timer duration by 10 minutes. You're doing a deposit of 2 Frenzy, increasing countdown by 25 minutes, and deposit 3, it's by 1 hour. It gives you a chance also, if you want to sleep and you are part of this, you can obviously add quite a few hours to it until you are back awake again and can attend the game. So there you have it, Solar Kingdom and Solar Frenzy. We hope that you enjoyed this tutorial going through every single part of the platform itself to try and give you a bit of an idea of what it does. Obviously it is early days. We have only been running with this for the past week. We can see obviously that the return on the investment is coming in. 4% is quite good on every single day. There is, however, limitations, so for how much you can take out, and you can use part of that into the Solar Frenzy game here also, which will help the platform itself. And obviously you could win some very huge prizes. They are definitely a lot bigger than we would have expected, especially this early, so only 1 week in within the platform itself. So that is a good sign. We can also see that the TVL continues to go up at the moment and has now passed 180 TVL. With the limitations, with the tax and the different things in there, we do hope that this is going to be a stable platform. We do also hope that us that have been in with Solar Farm, some way, shape and form, is going to be connected together with the Solar Kingdom. We know that the developers wants to do this, but it also depends a bit on some of all the other things that's going to happen with Solar Kingdom, and that will be good. So we have been in within the Solar Farm, so we do believe that the developers are doing a very good job. They continue to be here, they continue to support the community, and the community also supports them. We are definitely trying our best. It looks like they are onto something good, which they have also found out a few things where people are actually finding loopholes and draining the TVL, and that is the most important thing for this particular platform, to make sure that that is stable and it has a continuous growth. People are staying on the platform, not just in for the quick buck here itself. but obviously this again is a high risk investment, so make sure that you don't invest any more than you can afford to lose. You have seen we have only started off with 0.2 BNB, which is not much. Most probably we're gonna raise it a bit as we are testing out the platform, but again, this is crypto, this is high risk investments. But we have seen also in the past that the solar farm, it has paid our initial investment back and then some, and we also hope and expect that this will be the same thing. We just want to make sure that you are aware of the risks that are involved, so don't go out and use money that is supposed to for your family or for your monthly expenses. Definitely not a very good idea. We will obviously continue to monitor the Solar Kingdom like we do with all our other investments, and you can find more information on that every single week when we have our news report that is showing the progression, so from the individual platforms and investments that we are doing. So I hope to see you very soon again, but before you go, please make sure that you subscribe and put the notification bell on for our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. Thank you for today and hope to see you on the next video. Bye bye.